Hello, you're watching News9 Live. In a newspaper interview, Tamil Nadu Governor RN Ravi dismissed the Dravidian model as espoused by the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam as, and I quote, a political slogan and also, quotes open, a desperate bid to sustain an expired ideology, close quote. The governor also added that the Dravidian ideology that does not relish the idea of Oru Bharatam, that is, one India. Ravi, however, did say that he enjoyed a cordial relationship with Chief Minister Stalin. RN Ravi and Chief Minister Stalin have been having frequent run-ins, and we know several times over on various issues. Now, when asked about his interference, as mentioned by Stalin and his government several times over, Governor Ravi said that he, and I quote, "It is an ill-informed accusation that the governor is crossing the line." Close quote. So let's discuss this. I mean, it seems like this confrontation, it has been brewing, but now finally with this, it's gloves off, because he says, and they're going to particularly focus on the success of the Dravidian ideology, or is it like Governor Ravi says that it's outdated? It is only a political slogan. To speak more on this, my colleague Krishna is joining me in the studio, and also Narayan Lakshman, Senior Associate Editor of The Hindu, is joining us, and Venkat Narayan, who is a senior journalist. Vanakkam, I guess all of us today can understand that form of greeting. And let me start this with you, Krishna. Generations change. This has been going on since, let's say, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Do you agree with what Governor Ravi says, that it is now only a political slogan, what? The Dravidian ideology, and it's a rather outdated, anachronistic concept?
To put it into perspective, that's what the critics of the Dravidian parties say. That's what the critics of DMK say. Every single time DMK goes to town talking about the Dravidian model, they turn around and say there is no Dravidian model. So in the sense, the problem here is really simple. RN Ravi and the governor and the chief minister and the local and the government of Tamil Nadu have been at loggerheads for a very long time. And as you rightly pointed out, it's gloves off now. But I would say it's been gloves off for quite a bit, with the kind of snubs on on public platforms that these two people have have given off to each other. And in fact, the governor is a matter of ridicule, and inside the Tamil Nadu State Assembly, when they discuss when you have senior leaders of the DMK saying that that's how the governor wants to be. He's allowed to be, but we can't do much about it, because we, at the end of the day, we are the elected government. So this has been a stalemate that has just led to huge amount of frustration from both ends, to be precise. So you're seeing the DMK also using lesser and lesser subtlety when it comes to getting back at the governor, and the governor also now completely admonishing the entire idea of the Dravidian ideology, saying that is completely dead. But whether that's dead or not is another question. The question is, how long is this going to sustain in Tamil Nadu with this kind of a relationship between the governor and the chief minister?
Right. Narayan Lakshman, let me get you in. Narayan Lakshman, for any ideology to kind of be there, prosper, rather be relevant, it has also to be applied. I do not know if you would agree with me. Now the Dravidian ideology, sure, it worked. I mean, we have seen historically in Tamil Nadu how it has worked. But do you think that one has to look at it from the prism of workability, functionality, as it were? So, if you look at NEET, you look at TASMAC, you look at several other issues, DMK government is going to be 2 years old. Do you think that they've not really been able to apply themselves to the Dravidian ideology? Narayan Lakshman.
So, sir, it's a very important question, and I think the point is that the Dravidian ideology itself has evolved over the years. Since 1967, when they swept to power and ousted the Congress, it has always been about the common Tamil man and woman on the street and what is their welfare at the micro level. And at the macro level, it has also been about very well-defined questions of state autonomy, because the movement as such, the core values it enshrined, included recognizing the importance of the Tamil language and culture as being unique, the Tamil people even ethnically as unique and exceptional in some regards, and therefore a state was required, the state government in this case, to provide for the needs of the state as a whole and for the welfare and mass economic needs of the people as well, which has led to obviously this much broader conversation about freebies and populism and all of those things. So there are many sides of this Dravidian movement. And since 1967, it has indeed adapted itself.
Right.
So while it was in the early years talking about secession and actually breaking with the union, those kind of radical thoughts have all gone away. And now it is a focus on growth and delivering some benefits to the people of the state.
Right. Mr. Venkat Narayan, like Narayan Lakshman said, there was talk about, seceding, and that of course was put into the back burner, and that's history about, Nehru and several other people, and also the States Reorganization Act, as it were. But today, as I read Governor Ravi's statement, is that the entire Dravidian ideology seems to be going up against one nation, that is one India. Do you think that the Dravidian ideology, even till date, as it were, in Tamil Nadu, because no other South Indian state speaks about the Dravidian ideology. At that time, all the, Krishna, everyone was included in it.
Yes.
So then, of course, everyone kind of unhooked themselves. But today, the whole thing is, we are Tamils, we have the most ancient language, true, we have a different identity, true, civilizationally we are different. But do you think that there is still some kind of a reluctance to kind of amalgamate with what is called the nation state, that is India or Bharat?
Well, I think Governor Ravindra Narayana Ravi is not right when he says that. The fact that since 1967, one of the two Dravidian parties has been coming to power for more than 55 years now. It is either the DMK or the AIADMK which have been running the state. And the national parties like the Communist Congress Party or the BJP simply have not had any luck with winning elections and coming to power in Tamil Nadu. There I do not agree with Governor Ravi. The problem with Ravi is that he is a cop from Bihar. He has no personal knowledge of Tamil language, and is beginning to read Sangam literature and the great Tamil classics in English translation only now. I think that could be one of the possible reasons why he is having problems getting along with the DMK government, even though he claims that he has a good equation with the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Muthuvel Karunanidhi Stalin. So I think that is the basic issue there. But the other general points he makes about, in that interview, Sudha, the decline of education quality in Tamil Nadu, and the fact that central services, you don't have as many people, Tamils, entering the national services as it used to be the case in the 50s and 60s. I think that is a very valid point, and the state government needs to do something about improving the quality of education in that state.
Right.
The fact that only Tamil and English are being taught and no other language, including Hindi, have a place in the curricula of Tamil Nadu is a matter of concern. So I suppose that could be one thing that may be in the governor's mind when he says that Oru Bharatam, one India, doesn't really figure in the Dravidian, philosophy that the DMK and the AIADMK have been professing.
Yes. Krishna, tell me something, like what Mr. Narayan was explaining. But I had, because see, Narayan Lakshman had said that there is history of secessionism, that we will unhook, we'll go away, right? Yes. And then we saw Periyar, and we saw Annadurai, and we saw DK, DMK, AIADMK. Historically, we saw all those players. The thing is, do you believe that even today, whenever there is talk about Hindi, yes, you can say don't impose Hindi on me because I don't understand it. But the point is that they always speak about as if it's the Hindi hegemony. Somewhere, do you think that it is time that Tamil Nadu also needs to, and I am only playing the devil's advocate, I don't support Ravi or anything, you know. But the point is, do you think Tamil Nadu, or rather Dravidian ideology, also needs to dovetail certain aspects, like Mr. Narayan said, for the progress of its own people?
I think it will, because let's face it, the DMK of today is not the DMK of 10 years ago.
True.
So, you know, the party is evolving, and nobody in Tamil Nadu is looking at, you know, secessionism as a category when they vote for a Dravidian party, specifically the DMK. Because if you think of the ADMK has certain nationalist overtones to it based on MGR's own sense of patriotism. So between the DMK and the ADMK, between the two Dravidian parties, there's been two versions of Dravidianism already, where the ADMK believes in the nation state and believes in being part of this one whole unit called India, and espouses it quite strongly. So, you know, in that sense, the ADMK and DMK are not the same versions of Dravidianism. It has already branched out into two, and successfully so, and that's what both of our guests are saying, and the people have always voted between these two parties. So the evolution you're talking about is already happening. I think it will also happen with the DMK. And as far as the people are concerned, you know, it is, they vote for a particular party based on past track record, based on, you know, what is their ability to govern them and understand their issues. And that's where, you know, RN Ravi, you're saying now, forget the people, look at the people who are governing, the governor and the chief minister. RN Ravi, probably because of the lack of understanding of the Tamil language and the culture and how it works on ground. It's one thing to read about Tamil Nadu, it's another thing to actually go to Tamil Nadu and be with Tamil people and work with them.
But he is with them.
Yes, the thing is that I'm guessing the Tamil people that he's working with are the ones he's at loggerheads with, are the people of Tamil Nadu. Let's be very clear. RN Ravi is at loggerheads with the politicians of DMK who are governing the state of Tamil Nadu. This has got nothing to do with the people of Tamil Nadu. So I think in that sense, you know, I'll give you an analogy quickly. You know, the people who ran the Maruti Suzuki, you know, factories in here in Manesar, in Haryana, had a cultural understanding issue when it comes to the Haryanvi workers. And, you know, they admitted to the fact that they could not understand the Haryanvi workers and their, you know, mentality, you know, culturally. So in this case, I think there's a gulf of understanding, you know, that is really leading to all these, you know, all gloves off fights. I think to me, it's a cultural misunderstanding issue that's literally at the core of it all.
Right. Narayan Lakshman, do you concur with what Mr. Venkat Narayan said and also what Krishna said, that it seems that RN Ravi has no understanding? Now, let us take as a superficial understanding. He praises Tamil language, he says it's most ancient, he says Tamil people are very cordial, you have a civilization which is unmatched, etc., etc. The only problem he seems to have is with the Dravidian ideology, which he stuck his neck out and called it a political slogan. Do you think one should just look at it from the prism of politics and let it be, considering we know RN Ravi's political ideology, or you think that he makes a point somewhere?
You know, pardon me for saying this, but I do think this debate is the wrong one. I think the debate should be about how RN Ravi can speak up like this when under Article 200 of the Constitution, he has no right to do so. The governor has to only act as a constitutional functionary, carrying out the basic constitutional duties. He has no discretionary power. And whether you agree or not about, you know, number of civil servants coming out of Tamil Nadu, whether you agree or not, there's a gulf between the governor and the people of Tamil Nadu and he's misunderstood the ideology. These are irrelevant matters. He's not a private citizen acting and voicing out his opinions. If he was, then yes, we can have this debate. This is a person who has clashed repeatedly with the state government. There is a very real conflicted question about an overweening central government run by the BJP trampling on the constitutional rights of federalism in non-BJP states. That is the heart of this debate. So everything that he says in terms of content, while it may be true or not, I don't think is the subject. The subject is that this is a person who is seeking to undermine the governance of the state. He cannot speak vociferously about the ideology of the ruling party of the state. It is an overstepping of his constitutional authority. He has been holding back bills. He has been, he stormed out of the Legislative Assembly because he refused to read the text. This is a hallowed sacrament of state governments and governors across the history of modern India. When the state government gives you the text to read, you read it. You can't insert your own political views there. So what are we doing, giving this man this kind of platform and then debating whether he is right or not? he has no business making these comments. Because I don't say that just for Tamil Nadu, I speak for Telangana, I speak for Kerala, I speak for West Bengal, I speak for Punjab. There are other states where the same process is playing out, this sort of toxic poisoning of the well by the central government, undermining the state governments where it does not have power, seeking to have a pan-India BJP
Right.
rule.
I mean,
you can do that through elections and campaigning, but not this way.
Yeah, sure. So maybe, you know, what you're saying absolutely makes a point. But then, you know, I wonder if, you know, he transgressed what his limitations were while talking about several issues in that interview. But I want to ask you, Narayan Lakshman, my question was that one should look at it purely from the prism of politics, because if he has no business, like you said, and I quote you, that he's transgressing the line, that he's not supposed to comment on these so-called no-go areas, then obviously he's playing politics, and to an audience who are ready to listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, if we're having a debate about the Dravidian ideology, you know me, I speak about it regularly. I have a book that has discussed it. I'm very happy to do that. But I don't think I would like to do it in the context set by RN Ravi or any other governor. So the point, if you're asking the broader question of the relevance of the Dravidian ideology, I was saying earlier, I do think it has become a much moving away from secessionism. It's become a more accommodationist approach. It certainly accepts the role of the center. And that's what I'm saying that with some irony now, in light of my previous comments. It accepts that the center has certain subjects where it will rule. Education is a conflicted subject because it's on the concurrent list. In fact, RN Ravi has used that as the reason to hold back NEET and comment on, you know, vice chancellor appointments and so forth.
Sure.
And they do that in other states. But I'm trying to say that the Dravidian movement is no longer, it's like a rainbow coalition. It tries to bring in a diversity of caste groups in. It has rejected all calls for secessionism, and even state autonomy is not really fought for. It's more, can we get our fair share of the resources, for example, from GST revenue sharing? And also, can we deliver these mass welfare politics? And there is a real question of how much can you give away as PBs and welfare? Whereas, should you be focusing instead on economic growth, which actually increases the size of the pie?
Right. Venkat Narayan, I want to bring you in. And do you think, because right from the beginning, I think that what I was trying to say also is that Dravidian ideology has evolved. It's not the same thing that it was, and rightfully so, it should evolve. So do you concur with what Narayan Lakshman says, that, you know, it is not what it was perceived to be? And I think he has a point there. Do you think that the way one looks at it is the evolution of it is something which we cannot possibly be eclipsed, and we cannot ignore it? So just to look at it, you know, wearing blinkers and look at it from one point of view is rather anachronistic too.
You're right, Sudha, and Narayan Lakshman also, I tend to agree with him. But if the DMK is evolving, I'm afraid the pace at which it is evolving is rather slow. We are in the 21st century. You cannot be an Indian without the knowledge of some other language apart from your own mother tongue. Just because your chief minister has a problem with the English language, just because the Prime Minister of India and the Home Minister of India have a problem communicating in English, it doesn't mean that regional languages should be imposed on everybody and no national language should be taught or no international language should be taught. I don't think the Maharashtrians are saying Hindi is being imposed on them. I don't think the Gujaratis are saying that. I don't think anybody else is saying where Hindi is not the mother tongue. You just need a language which is understood all over the country, and it's very important for citizens of each of our states that they know one more Indian language apart from their own mother tongue, in addition to English, which is a global language. And it is for your own good. It's a different matter if you want to languish in a village in Gujarat or Tamil Nadu and you don't want to learn anything, you could as well stay as illiterate. But if
that's
you
not true.
are thinking of...
Mr. Narayan, I'm sorry I'm interjecting, but we all remember what Annadurai said about majority of people speaking in Hindi. I mean, he really stuck his neck out. So it is not about that if there is protest from some quarters, one can't possibly ignore that protest. Others are not protesting, well, their problem, they may be pliable, but then maybe Tamils are not pliable and they are asking a very valid question that we are ready to learn, but why impose it on us?
I don't think anybody is imposing the language. I mean, you have a 3-language policy in this country, and I was educated in a state, Andhra Pradesh, where I was taught 3 languages, and I'm grateful for that. And I have no problem living in India, in Delhi for for more than half a century, and I'm perfectly comfortable going traveling the world because I know English. So the point I'm trying to make is that the Dravidian DMK is not doing a favor to India by accepting India as a country. Where on earth will they go if they are not a part of India? How will they survive? It's one of, their industry is doing very well. It's relatively better run than a lot of other states, particularly in North India. But the bottom line is you have to compete at the national level, at the global level. So for that, knowledge of Tamil alone will not take you anywhere.
Right, but I think
outside
it's
of
a
your
larger
state.
debate. It's not just about language, Mr. Venkat
Right.
Narayan. It's about a lot of
Absolutely.
other things. And I
Yes,
think,
no question.
yeah, maybe we can, because this conversation is not going anywhere. It will come up once again. Thank you so much, Mr. Venkat Narayan, and also Narayan Lakshman. And thanks due to you, Nandri Krishna.
Nandri.
And for all the news and updates, keep watching News9 Live.